What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to today's video. We're going to be talking about a fun deck in standard format. We're going to find some fun stuff to play until the Battle Styles format kind of rotates out. I think everything that's meta is already out there. There's a lot of other content creators that have covered all these amazing meta decks. So today we're going to cover Reshiram and Zekrom Tag Team. It's not a great tier 1 deck by any means, but it can compete with anything and has a pretty strong high roll. So if you guys are enjoying that content, remember to subscribe, leave a like, comment would also be greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let's jump into the video of our deck, Reshiram and Zekrom-GX Tag Team, guys. When this card first came out, I thought there was going to be a lot of hype around this. I thought this card was going to be really strong because Fabled Firebolt, in conjunction with cards like End's Resolve and Welder, should have been able to do a lot in the format. But unfortunately, there was just stronger cards in the format. Welder could have been better paired with other cards like Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX. And just Reshiram and Zekrom, but not Reshiram and Zekrom, just Reshiram and Charizard Tag Team were just better at the situation. But things have fizzled out a little bit. This card is still not your top tier card, but Fabled Firebolt for Fire and a Lightning says discard up to 3 in any combination of basic Fire and basic Lightning energy cards from your bench Pokemon. This attack does 90 damage for each card you discard that way. Now, Crossbreak is our Tag Team GX that we're going to be using. 2 Fire and 2 Lightning. This attack does 170 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. If you played End's Resolve, it also does 170 to another benched Pokemon. So right now, Mew is in the format, so it's a little bit weird to get that full value on bench sniping. But if we can pull off a surprise Crossbreak or an End's Resolve into Crossbreak play early enough, we can pepper damage around where we need it to be. We play 1 copy of Crobat V, 1 copy of Eldegoss, and 2 copies of Dedenne as our support mons. We play 3 copies of Volcanion with the attack Flare Starter, because we do want to go second. We want a Flare Starter as soon as possible, get energy onto the board, maybe set up 2 Reshiram and Zekrom tag teams with an energy apiece. Therefore, all we need is a Lightning in the following turn to kind of attack. And if we can pivot the Volcanion and keep the energy card, we can one-shot a lot of things on turn 2, turn 3, or set up a knockout, or like a 2-shot on a big tag team, or not tag team, VMAX. Play 1 copy of Heatran. So in case we like late game get to the point where we have a ton of energies on the board, or we can get a bunch of energies onto the board, we can use Hotburn GX to simply get ahead in any matchup. Especially on turn 2, if we use Flare Starter, say we get a bunch of energies down and we Weldered maybe, or used End's Resolve and got a bunch more energies into play, we could potentially use Hotburn to come in and one-shot a VMAX and then clean up the game with just like 2 bosses or something like that. We have Tapu Koko Prism, because it's also an energy accelerator card for us. We do play Lightning Energy in the deck, it's required. We play 1 copy of Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team. Now you can't End's Resolve to this card, but you can Welder and attach, simply setting yourself up to use Flared Firebolts for weakness on an Urshifu or something. And at that point, we only discard 2 energies to knock out an Urshifu VMAX. They might not expect it with a deck like this, so we can just come out of nowhere with just a Welder play. We have 2 copies of Energy Recycler, because we are going to be going through our energy very quickly, and our deck is going to be thinning very quickly. We only need to use 1 of these cards, realistically, in a game to win, probably, but having 2 just gives us options. I also play 1 copy of Fire Crystal, because having a Crystal plus Welder combination in the late game is also very valuable. Also being able to Crystal if you get stamped low, and having a Hearth in play gives us a lot of utility there as well. 4 Quick Balls, nothing needs to be said there. 4 copies of Switch. I play the 1 copy of Tag Switch because I also feel like having this Tag Switch means that we can get the Mewtwo play off more surprisingly, and also say our active gets damaged or we have to put a bunch of energies onto one bench Reshiram and Zekrom, I can, after an End's Resolve, I can Tag Switch off the bench to the active, or like Tag Switch off of that onto like a Heatran or like a Volcanion and just use High Heat Blast to take a knockout somewhere. We play 3 copies of Giant Hearth because we do need our stadium to find energies. It's a little bit difficult in a deck like this that's packed so tight. 3 copies of Boss's Orders because we are going to be chasing stuff like Crobats, Dedennes, just things we can one-shot. 4 copies of End's Resolve. Discard the top 6 cards of your deck. If any of these are basic energy cards, attach them to one of your bench Dragon-type Pokemon. Now, that's only this Reshiram and Zekrom-GX, but that does mean that we have the versatility for late game plays that we can make. In early game plays, even with like a turn 1 massive amount of damage, we can get, 3 or 4 energies off that, or like a Tapu Koko Prism play, or Flare Star. We have a lot of turn 1, turn 2 energy acceleration available to us. In addition to that, we play 4 copies of Welder, so we can attach fire energies and also draw 3 cards. Welder is one of our primary draw engine, along with Dedenne and Crobat. So that's pretty much our draw. We have 1 copy of Air Balloon. just because I think having a tool card in the form of a retreat option always exists is really good. 1 copy of Telescopic Sight. Now this does 30 extra damage to opponent's V and bench GX Pokemon. So if we do get a cross break off, that means we can one-shot a Crobat V pretty easily. And anything else with 200 to maybe like a Victini or something else that's like lingering. I'm currently playing 2 copies of Vitality Band because I want to get that extra 10 damage to deal with stuff like ADP GX. And other things that might have 280 and, you know, maybe like 190. But this could also be one Air Balloon is what I was thinking as well. A second Air Balloon. Then we have 9 copies of Fire and 8 copies of Lightning. This could also be a 9th copy of Lightning just so we could guarantee some more energies off the end's resolve. This is a very much like high roll and get where you need to be kind of deck. So without, I guess, any more complications, let's jump into a game of Pokemon and show you how this deck works. And looks like it's a grass deck at Emiro. I did play against an Orbeetle earlier today on ladder, so it could be this guy again. Orbeetle is kind of a weird matchup because they have Cheryl's and stuff like that, but if not, it could be Rowegg, which is also pretty fine. They do play Big Charm, which make things a little bit weird. So we'll know whether or not he wants to go first, what kind of deck he's playing. If he opts to go second, he's probably playing Rowegg. If he opts to go first, he's probably playing Orbeetle or Decidueye. He's going first, so he could be playing Decidueye, which is fine. This is a fine hand for us. I guess we don't have another basic in the hand, which does make things a little bit scary. But if this is Decidueye, we can just spam Volcanions out and, I don't know, kind of sweep it. Originally, I had tech cards like Ninetales and Vikavolt also in the deck. Golisoplower, probably Sandaconda. If we top deck a Welder, that's just good game. There it is. I don't even have to worry about it. We're going to count that as a game. I don't know if I should, but we're going to go into game 2 after this. This would have been a pretty solid start regardless. So that's 1 game down, I guess. Let's go to game 2. I know that first game was a little bit of a donk, I guess. But our opening hand was actually very strong. Besides not having a follow-up basic, we did get our Flare Starter. We are being forced to go first. Interesting. This hand is pretty good still. I don't have to do anything yet. I can just go ahead and hearth away the crystal, attach to the Reshiram and Zekrom, and pass. Bullcephalon. Okay. I'm not going to give him the hearth. I'll go ahead and pass. He's spamming me out. He's probably playing TempoZard or something like that. Not just straight Blounds, maybe. If we could find the potential for a Flared Firebolts also, that'd be really nice on this turn. Maybe he's just playing... No, he's playing Tempo for sure. He's playing Volcanion, but he's playing TempoZard. Maybe he was spamming me out because he thought we were playing Mirror Match or something. It's okay. People, let me guys show you guys a trick for people like this on ladder. You do this, and then you hit this mute button right here, and all of a sudden, your gaming experience is 100 times better. Welder comes down. He could be looking to Fireball Circus or Volcanion in the active spot, which I'm not, like, super annoyed with, honestly. Dedenne comes down also. Looks like it's a weird TempoZard deck, I guess, with BreakZard. I mean, if we have the Telescopic Sight across the board, we can just pop these two at some point. Reshiram does come down. So, if we get Flared Firebolts... Okay, he's just going to scoop it up. I mean, he could have just retreated and not used the scoop up net, I think, would have been better. So he just burned a scoop up net. Okay, he just doesn't want that in play, I guess. He probably has a Dedenne in hand then. So if he has a Welder, he can Double Blaze knock us out. So let's think about how we want to play this turn out. I for sure want to Air Balloon here. Let's Quick Ball this away. I think we're going to go ahead and Dedenne. We have a chance to actually one-shot this if we can get lucky enough. This hand didn't give us anything we needed, unfortunately. We're going to burn the switch. I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 fires. I'm just going to accelerate another fire onto the board. This hand was a little bit lackluster that we Dedenne into. Not a single one of 4 Welder. Not a single one of 4 Ends Resolve. So. Two Crystal down, 2 Blacephalon down. So for the traditional TempoZard style deck, he probably doesn't play more than 3 Crystal. Maybe he does play full 4 Crystals. We'll see. In his eyes, he wants to come up and do the 230 to us. Knocking this out doesn't do anything, really. Oh, he's going to set this up. Okay. Interesting. So if we can, I guess, you can have this. That's fine with me. So we can still one-shot this. We would need a top deck Dedenne. Go into Tapu Koko Prism. Top deck Dedenne. Go into Tapu Koko Prism. We need to get a little bit lucky, obviously. But he's given us an angle. Can't do much with the angle, unfortunately, here. Our hand is pretty bad. We'll just go ahead and attach. Bench the Heatran. Hearth away the Hearth. Take 1 into hand. Because I do want to thin so we can potentially draw out of this situation. And we're going to high Heat Blast so we can actually just hit it with a Heatran plus 2 energies or something like that next turn. If I need to for the one-shot. And just Hopper and GX here. Now we're in a really bad spot because Cramorant can also just one-shot us. But 160 is a decent enough number that I can Heatran with a Vitality Band and one-shot here. We don't play any like hand reset cards whatsoever, which is a little bit of a downfall with this deck. So that's not ideal by any means. I can hold everything here, I guess. Put the lightning away, get another fire. We're still giving ourselves Welder outs. We're going to go ahead and Hopper and GX here. So that means no flared fire bolts to end the game. I think that's what it's called. Flared fire. No, it's cross break. Sorry, no cross break to end the game. We did prize a bunch of energy, but that doesn't matter. That just means we have consistency cards in the deck. So let's continue to look for these consistency cards. Our opponent has a bajillion cards in hand, so like a Welder plus Cramorant just ends this game, unfortunately for us. Or just Weldering and attacking in with this Heatran also makes things really scary. Not Heatran, Volcanion. It doesn't even matter what he Welders do, right? Like he could Welder anywhere and just hit me, and I'm in danger. So he's gonna keep digging for the Welder, I think. Fire Crystal comes through. Maybe that's the piece he was missing. Maybe he already has Welder. There is 10. There's 12 energy gone, so the deck typically plays 13. So Crystal, maybe Welder here, and then attack into me. And he's simply setting up a 2-turn lethal, effectively. 4 energy onto the Volcanion. Maybe he has nothing past this, but that's just kind of ambitious to hope for. Our full 4 crystals are gone. If we top deck... Okay, we're getting stamped. We do have 2 energies we can get off the Hearth. Ends Resolve, not amazing here. He gets an Oricorio, he gets a Cramorant. He gets to draw 3 more cards. He has 1 Welder left in the deck. Mewtwo is gone. Scoop Up Net's gone. If this last prize is Welder, we can win. But if it's not Welder, we lose. It's literally as simple as that, I think. I think he sees his entire deck next turn. Okay, cool. This is okay. This is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I still want to attach for turn, so I'm doing it this way. We're just going to put the fire down. There's nothing else I can do. I'm going to have to go ahead and Steaming Stomp and hope that we can steal the game off the back of this. We do have the boss next turn. There's one of our guys. Him promoting the Cram means he almost certainly has it. Because he gets to see his entire deck this turn. So you can go ahead and Hearth, thin a little bit further. There's the Welder. That was actually very close. For how awkward our mid-game got, that was actually very, very, very close. I think we had a really good shot of actually winning that with a little bit better luck. So let's jump to game 3. 3, it looks like we're up against Pikarom, if the deck box is not lying to us, but there is a deck box metagame, like Chip mentioned. So the first game we got a donk, the second game we didn't find any of those consistency supporters that we wanted, but in this matchup, hopefully we can get a little bit of a better indication of how this deck works. It looks like both of us will be wanting to go second, because they have Boltund and I have Volcanion. So we'll see. They chosen to go first, so maybe they're not actually Pikarom. Maybe they were baiting the whole time. Now this is an insane start. This is probably one of the better starts we could have asked for. Zacian in the active, it was a bait the whole time. It was a bait the whole time. It's an ADP deck, I think. Aurora energy there on the back. This is where our cheeky Mewtwo is going to come into play also to answer. Maybe they're playing Bronzong. Maybe they're not. We'll see. See, look. The tag team toolbox metagame, they got us. They got us. They thought we were playing Pika. And imagine if we thought we were playing Pika and we gave them the let's go first, you know? Oh, looks like they're playing Gengar Q in ADP. Very interesting. And they are playing Bronzong. Okay. When I saw Aurora, I kind of expected Bronzong, but they're not playing the good Bronzong. That evolves turn 1. So, it's a little bit interesting. They can just Intrepid here. But they're probably scared that if they leave this active, I can just one-shot it. So we're also playing our own relative mind games, because they have no idea what we can do on our turn. He just knows he's probably going to have to give me an attack into him. But all I really want to do is Fire Starter. So they're going a little bit extra on Dig where they don't need to. They're putting the ADP in the discard. In a situation like this, if I played something like Mimikyu, or if I had like... If I can go... No, there's no one-shot ability. There's a world where if I had like the Coco Prism, everything turn 1 play, and Great Catcher, I could one-shot this on turn 1, which would be really cheeky, but that's not the resources available to us. Yeah, now he's just thinking he's going to give us 2 prizes and play his game. So let's play our game. This comes down. He's probably like, WTF, my BFF Jill. What is going on? We're going to go ahead and grab this. We're going to go ahead and Ends Resolve to start our turn, probably. 8 fires. As long as we don't hit the Prism. Maybe we should have grabbed Prism there. Mewtwo hits the discard. That kind of sucks. Let's take our 5 here. Mewtwo hitting the discard actually does suck a lot. Go ahead and Flare Starter. Put an extra one here just because we want to use Flare Firebolts, possibly. We do have the boss knockout next turn. Or if he comes into the active, we do have the Switch knockout next turn. And just like that, we have 6 energies onto our board, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. There's not much else to say about the deck. Like, this is insane already. Like, we're already sitting pretty... He's going to go ADP-GX, so we can go knockout with the Reshiram and Zekrom, and all of a sudden they're in a tough spot. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and Marnie us, which is fine. I maybe should have put Coco Prism down. I don't think so. I don't think it matters, really. Maybe you should have put that down. Switch is still here. We have a Dedenne to continue digging. But also putting down Dedenne is one of the few ways we do lose this game, I think. So maybe if we don't need to, we don't have to. So, ideally I would go switch into this guy, attach here, and knock out the active, taking 2 off this, 1 off this. Dragonite, interesting. Saucer comes through. That means they do have the ADP-GX to find a switching card. So this deck feels like a weird tag team toolbox, even though it's an ADP deck. It's playing off the Bronzong a lot more and the Mewtwo than ADP, specifically. If they miss the attack this turn, we're cooking. Like, we're in business. Because at that point, we're just going to pivot into this guy, take a knockout, and move on with our day. I could even Ends Resolve, because we know Prism's on the bottom of the deck, along with 2 fires, however. So if I do that, I could literally just go Flared Fire. I could go Cross Break, kill these 2, get rid of the Bronzong ability for him, and then the game is pretty much won off the back of a boss. He's going to hit Metal Transfer. Retreat and GX. This is still fine, right? This is still like super fine for us. I think realistically, Horror House. Okay. Don't top deck it doesn't matter actually, right? And they concede. Okay. I mean, I think the game was already over, but yeah. Let's see if we can get a 4th game in to showcase the deck. On Reshiram and Zekrom tag team. I know the first game wasn't the greatest because we got a donk. The second game we kind of bricked a little bit, but the third game you saw how quickly and powerfully we got onto the board. No matter what happened from that point out, there was really no position where we actually lose that game. Even if we go into the Flared Firebolts, the upcoming turn, we take out the Bronzong, eliminate the possibility of a Zacian comeback. But yeah, that's the kind of power of the deck. It's not really an amazing tier 1 deck, I think, but it is a really fun deck that I think has a lot of potential. I worked on it for Expanded 2 before Dallas Regionals, the year that Hunter Butler won with his Tina Chomp deck. So I have a lot of ideas with this deck. I've really liked this card since the day it came out. If you enjoyed the content, obviously leave a like, subscribe, let me know. With enough support, I could go to a 5-day schedule for videos, so let me know if you guys enjoy that kind of thing. Right now, I'm going to stick to 3 days because I am starting school again in a little bit. So I want to make sure I don't burn myself out on videos, but I would like to come back to content. I would like to do it properly. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have been enjoying it. I know I'm doing some weird shit with my hand. I just don't know what to do with it. But thank you so much, as always. And until Friday, thank you.